tunein.com. Download the TuneIn app from the Google Play and Apple iOS store and listen to us on the go. Coming up this afternoon, police in Ashanti region arrest 2 suspects following communal clash between Pankrano and Adabraka youth, leading to the stabbing to death of 1 person and the destruction of property. We'll get details for you shortly. Also this afternoon, gridlock on Kaswa-Accra Highway as hundreds pour onto the streets to demand the immediate fixing of the Kaswa-Accra Highway in yet another protest against the government. We're live there as demonstrators issue a 2-week ultimatum to have their roads fixed. Also in the package, dam spillage disaster begins to take a toll on health of residents in affected communities, with Ghana Health Service reporting high stress-related cases.
What we'd rather see for now is the stress-related diseases like hypertension, because people have lost their belongings, they've lost their property, infrastructure they have invested.
And a lot later, private legal practitioner Anthony Akoto-Ampao is no more.
In looting state funds, they are not interested in taking action against their fellow. So you find out that it is the poor man or woman who normally gets prosecuted.
We have details of these stories, a lot more, if you stay with us for the next 30 minutes. A pleasure. You could be a part of this afternoon's bulletin. It's streaming live on Facebook. Our handles 3FM 927. Same handles on Twitter, now X, 3FM 927. Leave a message in the streams for us and we'll do the reading. But let's begin from the Ashanti region, because the police there has arrested 2 persons following a communal clash between Pankrano and Adabraka youth that led to the stabbing to death of 1 person. The deceased, identified as Kwame Owusu, was attacked near a public toilet at Pankrano on Wednesday evening, October 18. Several properties have been destroyed in a violent reprisal attack. The police had to be deployed to the area to prevent a situation from escalating. Residents there say there's been a long-standing rivalry between the 2 groups, but could not tell what triggered the latest stabbing incident. Ibrahim Abubakar is my colleague there. He's been following the development and will join us on the telephone line with a bit more details. But the brother of the deceased as well, he has been speaking to the news team as to what the family knows in relation to this rather unfortunate incident.
It was around 4 p.m. in the evening, and we were all around. We just heard a call that we should come to Tafo Government Hospital, that our brother has been stabbed. So we all went there, and that's where we found the body. By the time we reached there, he was already gone. It has been going on for years. Since I came to Pankrano, or since I stayed here, it has been going on. Pankrano and Adabraka, Pankrano and Tafo, it has been going on. But if you call the police, if something happens, you call the police will arrest the person. The next minute, the person is walking among us. So they have nothing else to do. So they claim that there's a theory that my brother is a thief. No, he has never stolen anything. It was a mistaken target, and the fight it happened. It's a past. It happened 2 years. That the younger brother was to be a referee for gala, it's Esma's gala. So that was where the problem started. So we all thought that boys, we've come over it. Then 2 years later, this has happened. We are expecting the police to do the investigation on it, or else the guys will retaliate, not us, but the community will retaliate. They retaliate in everything.
So that's the brother of the deceased explaining into detail exactly what it is they know and the suspicions behind the killing of his brother. But I mentioned we'll connect with Ibrahim Abubakar for a bit more details as to exactly what it is that's been happening there. There's a gathering of the family as well over the deceased. The police has arrested 2 persons. What else is to be expected? We'll connect to the Ashanti region shortly for details. Ibrahim Abubakar has joined us on the telephone lines now. Ibrahim, many thanks for joining us. And so we've heard from the brother who's been narrating exactly what it is that they believe is their suspicion behind the death. The police have arrested 2 persons. Does it look like a lot more people will be picked up?
Well, as I speak to you, 2 more people have been arrested just some few minutes ago. And we've seen huge deployment of police officers within the vicinity. In fact, they are moving within the town trying to pick intelligence, both uniform and non-uniform. And some have moved to the Adabraka side of the community. Others are also at Pankrono, just trying to gather some intelligence and prevent any form of reprisal attack. Because when you engage the youth, you can still sense they are boiling with rage. Some of them are still not satisfied with how the police is handling the matter, and they want to be left alone to go and attack those who allegedly came to kill Owusu Panahini. So the police is on the ground just trying to make sure that nothing untoward happens. But Mawuena, this is a stretch that is known for that. In fact, not just this community, Pankrono and Adabraka, from Tafo to Pankrono to Ehan to Abuaso to Inton. So this is something that is common. You see youth group clashes almost every now and then, people losing their lives out of these violent clashes. And we seem not to have found a lasting solution to these violent clashes. Anytime it happens, a committee will be formed, and that is it. You wouldn't hear anything again. This time around, residents are living in fear. They want the police to once and for all handle this matter so that they do not see it in the future.
Right, Sir Ibrahim. And so the police presence is going to be sustained for a while?
Well, for now, the police is on the ground. They've not told us when they will move here. They say they will be here until they are satisfied that total peace has been restored before they will leave the community.
Right then, Ibrahim, we'll come to you again for a bit more on this particular subject matter. But that's my colleague Ibrahim Abubakar. And this Adabraka, to be specific, is in the Ashanti region. There's Adabraka there as well as there's one here in the capital. But we're returning to the central region and parts of the Greater Accra region because resident and commercial transport operators from Kaswa and its adjoining environs are this afternoon protesting the state of roads in the area. The protest, which has been ongoing over the last 4 hours, has culminated in the blockage of all roads, leaving commuters stranded for hours. The police have been left helpless with a gridlock on the main Kaswa-Accra highway. My colleague Stanley Blow is there for us, is joining us on phone now. Stanley, has the traffic situation improved to start off with?
Yeah, Mawuena, currently the situation has not improved in any way, although the protest has come to an end after the convenience of the Fix the Kaswa protest or Fix the Kaswa road protesters were able to petition the Wejabawe Municipal Road Director. They actually petitioned the director about the road, the state of road. So I must say that from Kaswa, where they started the protest, from the procession from the Tobut enclave, all through to Weja Barrier, where they actually met the director and then also presented their petition to him to carry it to the appropriate protest. But as I speak, currently, when they got to the Weja Barrier, they decided not to allow any motorists flying the stretch, the dual carriage, to go. And so they held the protesters in, if I should use the word, hostage, because no car was able to go, no car was able to come. And so the protesters, some of the commuters who were on board some vehicles had to disembark their journeys, and others have also to alight from their car and continue their journey to wherever they are going on foot. Currently, as I speak, police were able to beef up the security in order to contain the situation. But this has been a peaceful demonstration, and I must also add that this is just one of a series of protests that the protesters have scheduled to be staging as far as 4 roads around Kaswa and 8 adjoining environs are concerned.
Right. You've been interacting with a number of them. They've been issuing ultimatums under exactly what have they been telling you?
So for them, the situation of the road has been taking a toll on their health and then their socioeconomic lifestyle. So for instance, if you are very conversant with the Kaswa Weja stretch, you could realize that whenever there is a downpour, there is this sand that comes to silt on the main road around the toll booth area, causing a lot of traffic. And that has been their headache, because for them, that stretch alone, that small portion alone, when motorists get to that place, because of the huge sand volume that silts on the road, they are not able to go, and it prolongs commuting hours. And so for them, they don't see why the government, when government is about to introduce a tax, the government doesn't inform them. The government doesn't seek their consent before imposing tax on them.
Right.
But when it comes to fixing of social amenities or providing of social amenities, they have to go a long way to plead with government and then embark on demonstrations before government actually hear their pleas. And so for now, they are not going to allow the government to rest. They will keep staging protest upon protest until their main concerns are addressed.
It's a very peaceful demonstration. We are law-abiding citizens. We pay our taxes. The government does not plead from us when he wants to introduce new taxes. We were here where they introduced obnoxious yield levy. We cried and cried and cried, but they forced it down our neck. We were here when they decided to place a tax on betting. Nobody complained. And so why must we even appeal to the president and the government before they fix our road? This one, we are not pleading you. We are demanding. But this is peaceful. The next demonstration we will hold here, the whole of Africa, the whole of the world would hear from Ghanaians that we have consistently had irresponsible and successive governments that do not pay attention to the plight of its very own people from which they take mandates. Thank you.
We are giving them 2 weeks ultimatum to fix the roads. Either than that, we are going to demonstrate to the Ministry of Road, because the MC tells us that he has written to the Ministry of Road several times, but there is no response. So this is sending a signal to all of them that we are not going to sleep on this till the road is fixed.
And so the residents there, earlier heard my colleague Stanley Nee Blew, who spoke to us over the telephone lines from the area. They've submitted a petition and are hoping to have government fix the roads. We're taking you out of Accra again to parts of the Volta region now, where the devastation caused by the dam spillage has not only left in its wake loss of properties, but also health challenges for residents of the area. According to the Ghana Health Service, the area is seeing more stress-related cases like hypertension among the adult population. Cases of waterborne diseases and malaria, especially among children, are also emerging. Deputy Regional Director of Public Health, Dr. Kwesi Senanu-Jokoto, says all efforts in the area are geared towards preventing a health crisis.
We've not recorded any epidemic-prone disease like cholera. We've also not seen an increase in the incidence of diarrheal cases. We've not seen an increased incidence in malaria cases. What we've rather seen for now is the stress-related diseases like hypertension, because people have lost their belongings. They've lost their property. Infrastructure they have invested with their entire life savings are underwater currently. So people who were not even previously hypertensive, you screen them and their BPs are high up in the roof. So luckily, we've been able to mobilize some psychosocial therapists who have been also engaging the populace or the affected population so that, they would come to terms and know that there is support coming for them. There are people who are ready to also help them throughout this very difficult situation.
That's Dr. Kwesi Senanu Jokoto. Meanwhile, individuals and corporate entities have ramped up relief efforts for the victims. A large delegation of leaders and members of the NDC and the minority leadership, they've arrived in the Tong area with relief items donated by former President John Mahama. Komla Kluche is there for us. He's been monitoring the exercise. Komla, talk to us. How has it been so far, and how well have the residents received these relief items?
Well, John Mahama donated 2,000 bags of rice, 2,000 boxes of cooking oil, some 1,000 boxes of mackerel, and over 1,000 packets of water. In fact, the NDC minority, from what they tell us, in terms of the donations, they have done is 1.5 million Ghana cedis that has been given to the people. At least this is the first batch of relief items they've been able to mobilize in this time to be able to give to them. John Mahama himself was not available to make the donation, but this was led by the national chairman of the party, Johnson Asidun Ketia, Dr. Kesela Tuforsen, the minority leader, and then a host of other NDC bigwigs, including members of the Council of State. Now, Johnson Asidun Ketia, in speaking, said the magnitude of this village, and saying before, questions should be answered, because how is it that in the past, when VRA does village, they do not get this magnitude of the flooding or the devastation the flooding has caused. And so he has said that questions must be answered, and this purely should be put on the doorstep of both government and then the VRA. P.P. Kwete, speaking in the capacity as the General Secretary of the NDC, said that they are going to pursue all efforts to ensure that the people who have been affected are properly compensated. Dr. Kisela Tuforsen, in speaking on behalf of the minority group, said that government should, as a matter of urgency, relocate the people who have been affected, who do not have any place to sleep, shelter at the Saglemi and facility,
right,
so that they will be able to at least have some respite for the time being. He also said the minority will push for a probe into how the VRA did the spillage. It does appear that they were a bit reckless in the spillage that they did, in as much as it was needed for the spillage. He said, from their reading, it appears they were a bit reckless in it. So they are going to push for a probe into the spillage done by the VRA.
Right then, Komla, many thanks for those details. That's Komla Kluche's Parliamentary Affairs correspondent to join the team from the NDC to the Tong area to deliver relief items from former President John Mahama. We'll be taking you as well to eastern parts of the country. My colleague Yvonne Nikwe, she's also been assessing the impact of the dam spillage on that part of the country as well. She's joined us on the telephone line now. Yvonne, many thanks. Talk to us. I know there's been a lot of attention on the Tong area because of the devastating nature in which the spillage has affected them. But from where you've been, what can you tell us as well?
Well, the situation at Akating and 7 other communities in the Upper Manya Corporate District has been severely impacted as well. So this is the situation. Theirs is not as a result of a direct spillage, but the delay in spillage because the volumes of water as a result of rainfall is becoming heavier by the day, increasing the levels of the water lake. And so as North-Tom people are crying for a dam not to be spilled, those at the upper stream are in trouble because there's a delay in spilling. So
and it's overflowing its banks and it's affecting them.
Exactly. So this is the kind of issue they're having. A number of houses have been submerged. Many others practically gone. Farms, especially fishing farms, have also been gone as well. What the district security council wants to do in the interim is to get a safe haven and then forcefully evacuate others to the place, especially those who are very close to the river bank as well. Water River has not finished its business of stealing the overflow of the dam. And so they're expecting that if they do flow, they are safe. But if they don't flow and it rains, it means that they will have problems coming their way. And so this is the issue that is happening around the Akating area, which is a fishing hub for the entire eastern region in a number of districts across the country.
Right then, Yvonne, many thanks for providing those details. Let's just hear from the Upper Manya-Krobo District Eastern, the Chief Executive Officer for the area, who's Joe Sam, also provided a bit more as to the concerns of the Akating residents.
If we wait for 2-3 days and they are not moving, we are coming as a task force to move them, because life is very precious, and I don't want anybody to lose his life in this disaster here. So we said they should move there. So from tomorrow, they'll be moving to those areas. Luckily for us, we don't have any death toll. Nobody has died. They don't lose any property as in the other areas. Very soon, the assembly or the DISEC is taking a step that where they put up their structures, they shouldn't do it again. They shouldn't repeat it again, because the water may come more than what we are seeing now.
That's the DC for the area, Joe Sam, speaking there. And to some rather unfortunate news now, because private legal practitioner Akutuan Pao has passed on. He died at a medical facility after a short illness. Sources close to his family say he was on admission receiving treatment, but his condition deteriorated. This necessitated him being kept in the intensive care unit where he passed. My colleague Joseph Akable, he has a bit more details on the man and what he was known for. Joseph, many thanks. Many know Akutuan Pao, but for the few who don't, who was he?
So he's a veteran lawyer who for many years worked at a famous law firm, Akufo-Addo Prempeh & Co. There's a law firm that was founded by the president and his partner then, Dr. Edmond Prempeh, and he rose through the ranks to become a partner at this particular firm. In terms of major cases that he's handled, the most recent being the case of John Dramani Mahama versus Electoral Commission and Akufo-Addo, the 2020 election petition. He led a legal team that ensured that the president's 2020 victory was affirmed by the Supreme Court. He also famously represented Fix the Country convener Oliver Barker-Vormawor during his quest to secure bail when he was arraigned on charges of treason, felony. And so this was controversial because here is a man who was the president's lawyer confirming his election, defending someone who was being accused of plotting to overthrow the president. Again, in 2010, he successfully got the High Court to dismiss criminal charges filed against former Chief of Staff Kojo Mpieni and former Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana at 50 Secretariat, Dr. Charles Reku Brobe. We can listen to bits and pieces of him in court at the last time.
There was nothing in the petition about the petition having won the election.
My Lord, I have indicated earlier.
No, please answer my question.
Please, I'm about to answer the question, unless you are not ready to listen to the answer.
I've asked you that when you filed the petition,
Yes, my Lord.
yes, there was nothing in it to the effect that the petitioner had won the elections.
In the petition, yes.
And it will be nothing but madness for a party to seek to rely on his opponents to prove his case. My lords, rest our case.
Mr. Akutuan Pao, I think you have to change your way. It has lost its identity as a way.
My lord, because they themselves are committed to corruption in looting state funds, they are not interested in taking action against their fellow. So you find out that it is the poor man or woman who normally gets prosecuted.
and may his soul rest in peace. And from him, must also mention that a number of individuals are today as well being called to the bar. Notable amongst them, Minister for Foreign Affairs Shirley Koboche, the Member of Parliament for Tafo, Eko Vincent Tasifwa, and the likes, and the Chief Executive of the National Lottery Authorities as well, Sami Uku, amongst the notable individuals. I know a number of individuals as well who've been called to the bar, so a huge congratulations to all of them as well. But away from this, but you're listening to the news here on 3FM 92.7, and the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, says the ongoing prosecution of Minority Leader Dr. Keselato Forson in the ambulance trial reeks of persecution rather than an effort to punish wrongdoing. The case against the minority leader continues to take different twists, with former Finance Minister Seth Tekpe testifying as a witness in the ongoing case. According to the Speaker, the approach of prosecutors come off as though they are in a gamble with the evidence available to them. He spoke when he paid a visit to the family of the late former Majority Leader in Parliament, Felix Kwesi Usui-Japon, to commiserate with them. We can take a listen to the Speaker of Parliament.
That he had to come ahead, and he had some challenges to attend to in Kumasi, so he will not be available. The minority leader, unfortunately, and I keep on saying this, is being, to use the word I use, persecuted. So on a number of these occasions, he cannot be with us because he's appearing in court. As at now, he's in court being tried. It's not that we don't want the rule of law to apply. We all want it to apply. But where prosecution is just a gamble, I may win or I may not win, but let me do it. I will not prescribe that for any politician. Because as a leader, you always have to take the risk. You could get it right, you could get it catastrophically wrong. Could you be prosecuted because of that? Then there will be trepidation. Nobody will have the courage to come out boldly and take decisions when things are really hard. And these are some of the things we have to take on board as we continue to work together in Ghana. It happens all over the world. It's not only Ghana. These things happen, and you can go to US, UK, whatever, and they don't go into prosecution. There are other ways of handling these things. So he has been absent. The day we were going to President Kufuor's place, the same thing, he was in court. Today too, he's in court. So we'll be here, we'll be at E.T.'s place. He has to do it later on. These things, I think we should. It's important I mention them as we do this, because the media coverage will support us.
As a Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin speaking there. That'll be it for this afternoon's edition of the Bulletin here on 3FM 92.7. As always, a lot more news if you log on to 3news.com. Our top stories for you this are: police in the Ashanti region arrest 2 suspects following communal clash at Pankrano and Adabraka. The youth group there, leaving it all out on the floor, resulted in the stabbing of 1 person and several properties as well destroyed. A lot more news as always if you log on to 3news.com. I am Eric. Mawuena, Egbeta, Bismarck Awusa is here ready, waiting with the very latest from the world of business.
Hello, good afternoon. Time now for Business Daily. Coming up, Ghana records a total of $540 million from Petroleum Revenue Fund in first half of 2023. We will bring you details of the semi-annual report by the Public Interest and Accountability Committee, PIAC. Also, we throw the spotlight on street hawkers who risk their lives in pursuit of a brighter future.
In the bustling streets of Ghana, a hidden struggle persists. Street hawking.
Plus, experts renew calls for a regulatory framework for fintech ecosystem to make it robust.
It's a new sector, so it's now evolving, and there need to be the guided rules for everybody to play within the same scheme.
My name is Bismarck Ausa. These and many other stories headlined for you. Thanks for your company. Now to our very first story. Ghana has recorded a total of $540 million in petroleum revenue from January to June 2023. That's according to the Public Interest Accountability Committee, PIAC's 2023 semi-annual report. The following report has more.
In the latest findings of PIAC, out of the substantial $540 million in petroleum revenues, $466 million have been allocated for priority sectors. These include agriculture, roads, critical infrastructure development, as well as advancement in education and healthcare service delivery. Notably, agriculture, including fisheries, secured a significant allocation of over 247 million cedis, representing 12.24% of the total. In contrast, roads, rail, and other vital infrastructure projects took the lead with a staggering 1 billion cedis, signifying 85.74% of the allocated funds. Furthermore, a considerable amount of 131 million cedis, equivalent to 6.47% of the annual budget funding amount, has been transferred to the District Assembly Common Fund during the first half of the year, reflecting the government's focus on local development. The report also outlined the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund's plans to invest a substantial amount of $380 million in two critical projects, the Temamoto Way and the Palugu Multipurpose Dam, over the course of 2023 to 2025. These strategic investments are poised to drive economic growth and foster infrastructure development in the country.
And that was a 3 Business Desk News report. Now, while providing a means of survival for many, street hawking stands in violation of the law. In our feature this week, we delve into the depths of this issue, shedding light on the stories, impacts, and the search for a brighter future.
In the bustling street hawking, the difficulty in making ends meet compels some people to sell on the streets, undeterred by the scorching sun or the danger of losing their lives. Harrison, a father of 4, is one of many such people. He tells me he's been hawking on the streets for the past 12 years.
Actually, I just completed GSS. I decided to go to school, but there is nobody. So that's why I end up here at the roadside. This is what I do for a living. I sell wiper, carpet, stereo coats, and then, on the street.
Like Harrison, many others share similar plights, although the venture does not fetch much.
It's not profitable, but I have no other option.
Those of us who are not educated find it difficult to apply for loans because of the lack of measures in place.
I've been doing this for 20 years. The business is not lucrative.
Many of these hawkers know their operations are illegal. In April 2011, the Accra Metropolitan Assembly released new bylaws approved by the local government ministry to arrest anyone who engages in street hawking. However, it seems these laws have been difficult to enforce. The World Bank revealed more than 7.7 million Ghanaians live on less than 25 cedis, 31 pesos per day, emphasizing the unpleasant economic situation these hawkers find themselves in. Could there be an alternative source of livelihood for them?
Most of the time, we focus on the established private sector to the neglect of the informal sector. We can find training alternatives for them. And again, I would say that government must also focus on the human capital development, our education, our educational sector. Education doesn't just mean going to the university and coming out. We must find vocational trainings for some of these guys. Develop new innovative ways that will meet the Ghanaian demand.
Per the World Bank, at the end of 2022, nearly 850,000 Ghanaians had been pushed into poverty. Now, with the current economic downturn kicking these hawkers off the streets could worsen the situation for Ghana. Will policymakers come up with an intervention to curb this menace without worsening unemployment and poverty in the country? The future holds the answer. Menu Afo, Free Business, Accra.
And that was our special Friday feature on street hawking. This is still Business Daily with me, Bismarck Ausa. Moving on, there are renewed calls for a regulatory framework for Ghana's fintech ecosystem to make it robust. Speaking at the media launch of the 3rd edition of the Ghana Fintech Awards in Accra, Head of Sales and Marketing at KPMG, Akisi Aka, said the country's financial technology space has the potential to grow if given the needed regulatory backing.
With all digital, platforms, there need to be the need for a regulatory framework. It's a new sector, so it's now evolving, and there need to be the guided rules for everybody to play within the same scheme. And really, at this point, when it comes to money usage through e-commerce and e-transfers and all that, that's where we see the upsurge of money laundering as well. So then we are positioned to really help the industry to make sure that the regulatory environment is actually robust, that can sustain, anti-money laundering, capabilities and also support systems and all that. And also, as we also work to grow the industry, we are bringing more people into the fray, be they end users or be they businesses as well. That's where we need to make sure that the KYC is also robust enough to make sure that we are actually recouping into the system people that are traceable, people that can actually support the growth of the industry and, build the financial sector for maximum growth for the economy as well.
You heard Akisi Aka, Head of Sales and Marketing at KPMG. Meanwhile, Project Coordinator of the Ghana Fintech Awards Scheme, Christina Swan Awaga, underscored the need for collaboration between banks and fintechs in order to reach the unbanked population.
What it is, we want to identify all of the players within the industry, and we want to ensure that these players are very well rewarded for the hard work that they put into the ecosystem to ensure interoperability, to ensure partnership between the fintech companies and the banks, to ensure that the unbanked and the underserved are also served, because as we noticed previously, there was a group of population that was not included within the financial sector. And that is because either they did not have formal jobs, so they could not provide job letters to open an account. Now, anyone can now have a mobile money wallet. That makes the whole entire transaction within the ecosystem easier. It's easy to track as well, because now the government institutions, Bank of Ghana, can see how the money is circulated within the industry.
And that will be all for Business Daily with me, Bismarck Ausa. For more business stories, please log on to 3news.com. Black Rasta continues with Urban Blend. Please stay.